Revelations.Unveiled.Detroit.
Okay. you put a lot in there.
Yeah, it's a lot. Where you want to start at?
Okay, family. Who are we? Brother Dalton's book on Amazon. Tell them real quick where you can get the book.
You can get it at JELLYROLL.com.
There it is on the screen. Get the book, family. All right, bro. So, interracial relationships, open marriage.
On one side. It wasn't both. So I don't play that.
Well, I mean, you in it, so if it's open on one door, you still can get in, right? So I
mean, it was open as long as she had a girl. There no guys coming. I don't want.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Okay. You took it
in. Okay. Now, the statement: "I love black women," right. And I can understand the messing around. But she got pregnant, and then you had to alter with a woman of another nation, which means,
and I knew I didn't want to marry, but my disdain and my to not be like my dad was so strong that I ended up marrying her, and I figured the prenup gave me a little peace, but it didn't work. So in my mind, I could live like this, threesomes whenever I wanted them, have fun, and just do whatever I want, and be married and have a family. I thought that was feasible at the time, but it doesn't work.
All right, now bruh, you always opening up this new stuff that gives us more exploration. Okay, you a black man, you big black jelly roll.
Right.
You have this wife. Now you got a baby.
Mm-hmm.
How would now, you said you've been traveling, so the baby is under her influence, but that's a black, okay, oh man. I'm saying that's a black baby, but you may say what is your baby?
She identifies as black since she's been grown.
Okay, now that means since it was a point in time before the since.
She was trying to be Jewish. Her mama's Jewish.
Oh my.
I had a white Jewish woman.
Okay, is she secular or practicing?
Secular. She eat bacon.
Okay, so she just a white lady.
Yeah, liberal. Them liberal Jews, very liberal. She lives in the gay neighborhood. Very liberal, open to, everything fine. You can do whatever you want.
How was she raising the baby?
Well, you want to take it there. I had a full-time nanny. So she had all the fun time for the baby, and the baby cried. She give it to the nanny. So, and then we went on and did our thing in the dungeon. I call it the dungeon in my basement, and we did our thing.
She enjoyed all the exploits of privilege.
Yeah, we had. Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Okay, how were you raising the baby?
Pretty much I was gone most of the time. So to me, when I was with the baby, I was just trying to have fun. When I had off time, it was either I lived in Florida, so we were either going to Disney World or going on vacation. You know, in the off season, I try to travel as much as I can for those 2 months I had off, because it was back to, you know, off season conditioning in 2 months. So took care.
Oh, was it well managed?
But we had somebody helping us, so we had a live-in nanny. So she really, all she got to do is enjoy her, and then when there was any issues or changing pampers, any other thing, she would just give it to the nanny, and the nanny did all the other, you know, did everything else. So
okay,
pretty, you know, open or free life to be a mother. She didn't have to do much. She didn't work. I mean, she was good with finances and investing. She taught me, you know, different ways of investing. You know, the stereotype about Jews no money. She definitely, her father definitely taught her. She's very financially literate. To be, you know, very financially literate, and taught me a lot actually. So,
okay. What were some of the enhancements or some of the wisdoms you acquired very quickly in regards to finances on that front?
For me, just learning how to invest, learning, you know, I took a lot of classes, Rich Dad Poor Dad. Then, you know, I had a business coach, and like I said, I pay for education, because, you know, after I had a couple, you know, people where they got me out of some dumb investments. I said, I'm not going to be the football player that's end up broke after busting his ass for 9 to 10 years. So I ended up investing in a business coach and called a financial strategist. I can't say that word, strategist. And so he just told me about investing and researching and reading white papers on businesses that I want to invest in the stock market. Now I'm taking a class right now on crypto. So I'm just constantly learning and trying to, you know, study the market and try to follow what the rich people do.
Right, family, you hear, brothers at our middle age or whatnot, we still learning and seeking and growing.
That never stops.
Never end. Okay. Now I'm gonna let family go get the book so they can get the wonderful details of your multicultural salads you used to partake in.
Salad.
Now, how did that relationship wrap up?
What I say is, being with somebody different or a different culture is fun until it's time to raise kids. I come from a different background. You know, she's very liberal. My daughter can say whatever to her and talk to her, whatever. And I just, you know, I was taught to respect my mother, and black folks, we respect our parents.
Oh yes.
They say whatever to their damn parents. They talk to their parents like they can't. Can I curse? they talk to their parents. You know how some they just talk. They say whatever to their parents. They're very liberal with their parents. So
when you say they, are you saying they? Are you talking about they, your children?
I'm saying in the community I grew up in Boca, which is 85% Jewish. Boca Raton is like Atlanta's for black people. Boca Raton is for Jewish people. It's like that. It's 85% Jewish, and most of the kids there, parents let them talk. Once they turn 13, their parents treat them like they're adults, and they can talk to their parents and can say anything, talk about anything, say anything, disrespect them. It's just they don't matter. They don't care.
They have the adult privileges at 13.
Yeah, after they bar mitzvah.
I was going to refer to that. So now, did you do that for your baby?
She actually flew over. They had this thing where they do. They fly you over to Israel and you learn about the culture. So she flew over to Israel, had a bat mitzvah over there in a synagogue or something, and I don't remember the whole how, because I wasn't with her, and I was with the mother then. But she flew over there and had an experience for her 13th birthday. It was like they had a camp. There's a camp where all these kids go, and they pay a lot of money and they send them over there to learn about the Holy Land. You know what I'm saying? And that's what she did for her bat mitzvah. It's bat mitzvah for the girls, I think, right?
You dropping nuggets because listen to what you said. I mean, one, you said she was not practicing your spouse, but in terms of this rites of passage, where within their culture, this person now transcends into adulthood, there is a special event that occurs, and they go across the world and get right into, I guess, whatever that introduction is,
Yeah.
to who they are,
Right.
in the first days of their new adult training. I guess we call it adult training. That's major and something that should be formalized for our young men to start.
I definitely believe that. I definitely, yes.
How? So wow. I mean, yeah. When you think about it, we need some guidelines or some age thresholds. Now, of course, you know, we're not going to allow all that mouth and acting in your kind of way.
Right.
But, you know, it's your adult training. That's what we start calling them young men and women. And we learning to cook and get your clothes right and change tires and keep oil in the car and, you know, keep the stove clean. And
I'm going to teach you how to keep a man.
Yes, that too. Now, okay, now you said different cultures, all good, but now you are there and you getting ready to be daddy
Full time.
Full time. Did that cause an issue?
Oh, a lot of issues.
Uh-oh. What went down?
I couldn't discipline her. She acted out of, hey, I couldn't spank her. If I attempted to, her mother would come grab her, and then my little girl would lick her tongue at me and like be disrespectful, and her mother would like pretty much fight me to not discipline her the way I saw fit, and that caused a stress in our that was one of the initial stresses in our marriage, the raising of our children, of our daughter.
So the child was given access to be wayward in the home.
Yeah,
that became normal to the child.
Like I couldn't discipline her at all.
No, because you know when you said what you said, and how we grew up, and just who we are.
Right.
Well, I never licked my tongue out at my mama, even if she wasn't looking, because your mama pull your tongue all the way out, right? So when you said that, I know your brain had to be, did this child just lick her tongue out at me?
Right.
And then for you to say that that's normal actions for how they grow up, because that's, you know, we just don't have that. So
when they grow up, after they have the kids, the man really doesn't count anymore. The father really doesn't play. He plays a role financially, but the mother handles everything dealing with the child in their culture, and a lot of it. And all of it wasn't like that. I noticed the brothers that actually came over from Israel were different than the brothers who were raised in the United States. The Jewish brothers that were raised in the United States. Brothers from Israel were very disciplined. They believed in spankings, and they were a little harder than the parents. They were a little tougher and stricter than the parents that were raised in the United States.
Okay, westernized.
They were westernized, right? The Western Jewish folks let their kids do whatever, pretty much. But they are big on one thing. They would get down their throats about education and finance.
Education and money.
Yes. That was very serious in my household. She was very serious about that with my daughter.
Okay. Now, were you accepted or did you get along well with her family?
I've never really talked. No, I didn't really get along with them. They really came. It came around sometimes. When the father would come around and didn't talk, I can tell he didn't like the idea of his daughter being with me. And the mother, he came around to see the baby, but no, I didn't really get along with them that much. It was very quiet when they came around. I didn't really speak. We didn't really talk that much.
All right. Now, seeing your baby, she's absolutely brown.
Right.
Okay. Now, how did you capture or begin to manage that behavior within the marriage and the conflict that was going down? How did you put your foot down on that? Like, you know what? This child is not going to be acting out of order up in here. Children.
Actually, I really didn't do nothing. I couldn't. She would make it to the point that it would be shouting and screaming, and that's how I had her by myself. She didn't do anything. It was just me and her. When her mom was around, she would put on the whole show to get away with it.
Showing out.
Right, showing out.
Showing out. Okay. So, okay. Now, when you and mom determined that the best course of action was to, you know, seek different courses of life, how did that get resolved with the babies, the money, and both of y'all getting ready to change lifestyle? So
it was a combination of things. So her mother passed away, and she got on this medication, right? And this medication, so after she got this medication, she wanted to completely change our lifestyle up. From what I told you we were doing earlier to this, you know, I guess Western version of marriage. And I realized that I don't like her enough to be with her in that type of relationship. I enjoy the initial perks that she brought to the table.
Okay.
Took all those perks away. I realized I didn't really, you know, we really don't have much in common outside of, you know, our experiences in the bedroom.
Woo! Okay. So
we like to travel. We both like to travel. That's about it.
Did you take a financial hit during that termination of the relationship?
Yes. Yeah, she got half.
Oof. Now, how do you recover from that?
How do you recover from that? Shoot, prayer. It worked. Yeah, prayer and work, brother. That's all. But I noticed the blessings started coming in once I forgave her. I didn't forget who she was, but forgave her and let go of that giving her rent in my mind for nothing. Because I used to dream about her dying at one point. But after I let go of that anger, you know, my life started to get better, and I got back on track. And I met my current wife, and I started building, building up that wealth that she took away.
Okay, so how many babies came out of marriage one? One. All right. And now I'm going back to this baby because you say now she is identified as us.
Yeah.
Is that due to living in America?
That is due to her going to this prestigious predominantly Jewish private school, and as she got older, they didn't look at her as Jewish because she was black.
Ooh.
And I had to break down to her. I actually had to show her the Hebrew Israelites and break that whole science down to her and tell her you are the original Hebrew. They are the imposters. So I had to go there with her. And me and her mother fought. My mother don't believe, like, who are they? They're not really Jewish. They not, I had that fight with her. But I had to show her that. And then I had to deal with her thinking that she's not pretty because she's in this school and her hair is different. So they asked her, what about her hair? And they would give her all types of issues, man, at this private school. So I'm thinking I send her to the best. Sending your black child to all white private schools, like, sending your Jewish kid to a Nazi private school. Like, it tears the fabric of them. My daughter wasn't kind. My daughter's beautiful. And I'm not just saying that because I'm her father. She's beautiful. She looks like Alicia Keys. And she thought she was ugly. She thought her hair was ugly. She didn't like them. It got to the point that she would go to the beach and get a hat on, but she didn't want to get too dark. Okay? She lost all this weight. She didn't like having. She wouldn't put braids in her hair because her friend told her it was ghetto. Like it was that, you know what I'm saying? It was that, and so I sent to Florida. I sent to Cleveland here with my sister for a couple months. She was all right for a while. She started embracing, her identity, but then she went back to school. She ended up being the black sheep. She ended up getting in trouble. When they start picking on you, so she turned into this, this outlaw at school. She kept getting in trouble, and she eventually got kicked out of the school, and ended up homeschooling and graduating from home.
Wow, bro. We gonna mess around and have 100 shows because you just outlined something prevalent in our community. And dig these dimensions. So you actually have a biracial child. So that's your experience. And then the colorism itself in our community anyway, right? Your daughter primarily growing up with her mom, so we may not be sure if the concept of race was even in her brain. That's just mama and your dad.
No, there was no concept until she got older in middle school and the kids started telling her she was different. Before then, she just said everybody was just humans.
And another thing we in the community deal with is empathy, because with us being black, we black, but that child is multiracial, right? Mm-hmm. And what you're outlining is what they deal with when they're interacting. What do you call those people? The dominant, or
the dominant race at her school.
Okay. Yeah. And so you are giving perspective to what occurs with a biracial child. You may be helping biracial children. You may be helping parents of biracial children, mm-hmm. because I wouldn't know about that. And the torment she had to endure, because you go to school more than you do anything when schooling, right?
Yes.
And that analogy you gave, sending your black child to these all dominant learning facilities, we thinking they're getting the best education when they are being submitted to psychological terror and torment.
There you go. And that's why I'm in Atlanta right now, because I got a chocolate baby. It's my complexion. I'm not about to put her. South Florida is all about colorism. South Florida is really bad. Everybody want to look Latin and the long straight hair, and it's a lot of colorism and classism in South Florida, Miami, Fort Lauderdale. And that's the reason I moved to Atlanta, because I'm at pretty much all black private school here, and they embrace her culture, her hair. And she, I think those first 8 years, that's what the Jewish folks do with their kids. They don't introduce their kids into the main society to after they train them up until they get into middle school. Then high school, they might go to a different school, but they implant the seed on who they are, so they know who they are once they go into high school. You're not trying to find yourself. You're trying to find yourself and you're in a society that nobody looks like you. You start to feel different and you want to fit in, and so you try to be like them. So she would wear those little shorts that the little girls at her school would wear, but they ain't have no curves. They little skinny little white girl. She got curves, so she looked like a little fast little girl in these shorts. But she just trying to look like her friends, and she didn't understand that concept. And so it was tough for her. She had a rough time in school. She had a rough time. After middle school started, she started going downhill.
You just highlighted on a scale the need for us to create, maintain our own learning institutions, because my heart, as you outline this for your daughter, I'm stirred. I have a baby girl, and I would be mad if consciously I know when she gets to school, how you outline it is like when a prisoner wakes up in jail for the day and he got to deal with the noise and the threats from other prisoners and the guards and you know, on a daily basis, and I'm supposed to be learning.
Right.
So is my brain in the learning mode, or am I on defense? You know, am I emotional? Is my self-esteem, bro? I mean, that's very deep. We need to be developing and maintaining our own institutions.
Yes.
Because if you destroy that self-esteem, that's like the spirit.
Right.
And you outlined for your baby girl how she was constantly tormented.
Right.
Wow. Okay.
She became an outlaw, stealing, taking their money. Like these kids at her school, like I'm talking about the owner of the Dolphins grandkids, the Red Sox owner kids, Prince of Dubai kid. She went to that. I sent her to that school. In my mind, she's not gonna have a Detroit public school education like I had. She's gonna be a lot smarter than me. So I paid to send her to the best institution. She's very brilliant, but her confidence level is very low because of what she experienced as a child in that school.
Is she working on that, or did she grow out of that? Is she a young lady? Or?
You know, she grew out of that, and she became after damn, I should know this brother's name, man. I feel bad. The brother that got killed by the police. I'm losing his name right now, man. But after
that,
what's the brother?
Which one?
What's the brother name? Or the one that had the movement happened after the dude was getting choked out by the nigga got killed.
George Floyd.
George Floyd happened. My daughter became like super pro-black. She was at every protest in Arizona. He lived in Arizona. She had every protest. She identifying as black now. She thinks everybody, she started, I guess she kind of woke up because she was in in this world where that I guess color doesn't exist. And then she realized people started to, see who she was, and they started treating her differently. And then she became pro-black, man, after that. So now she want to know more. She asked me all types of questions. So she did. But so yeah, after her experience, she started identifying as black.
And until we are together again, I love you. I love you. I love you. To be continued. Revelations.Unveiled.Detroit.